going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackowitz. This is the Kaged Review. And I'm going to review Stranger Things Season 2. I just watched the entire season, and I gotta say, I really liked it, and I liked it better than I liked Season 1. I know some people that I've talked to much rather prefer Season 1, and I didn't really understand that because I felt like they really expanded on what they started with Season 2. They expanded the characters, they expanded the idea of the Upside Down, and really took a really cool new direction with this. Now, my big thing was, when I saw it originally, the first thing that popped into my head, without knowing that they were kind of paying homage to Stephen King, was that it felt like a lot of Stephen King ripoffs. Well, now I understand that that was kind of intentional. And I have to say, in Season 2, I can honestly say that this is not just some kind of cheap knockoff. They did incorporate a lot of Stephen King ideas into their storylines, but they definitely made it their own here. And that's a big thing. It does have a lot of originality to it. And, as I've always said, when it comes to storytelling, you have to have characters. Characters that you care about. Characters you're connected to. And they do a very good job of doing that in this series. 11. Millie Bobby Brown, man. I gotta say, I said it in the first preview for Season 1 that I feel like this girl has an amazing future ahead of her. To be as young as she is and to have all the emotional range that she has, it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. When she's sad, happy, angry, whatever it is, she doesn't have to do much but just give a certain facial inflection and boom, you feel it. And there's something about certain people's faces that really create great expression, and she has one of those faces. So I really do believe that she has a very big, bright future ahead of her. Now, let's talk about Chief Hopper. David Harbour, is it? And this guy I found out is going to be the new Hellboy, which is kind of cool. Side note there. Really good. I don't know that his character has had a ton of emotional range. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's certainly had some, but certainly not to the extent that the kids have. But he has been very good for the show. I really like his character, and I really like the frustration that he feels, being, the typical macho man, provider type man, and dealing with having to face emotions that he doesn't want to face, and losing his own daughter, and now taking care of 11. I thought it was really cool. Really, really good connection between those two. And again, that goes back to building character and building relationships. You see the struggle that he has, and it's very well done. I got to look at the names for a couple of the kids here, because I do want to talk about a couple of these kids, and I'm not entirely positive all the names. Will Noah Schnapp. Very, very good. I was very impressed when he was taken over by that entity, and he had to sell being in pain and sell some of the real bad tense moments, and actually some of the emotional moments too. I thought he did very, very, very good. To me, the kids are really the ones that made this. Like, honestly, I feel like they're the ones that brought this whole thing together on an emotional scale. Mike, Finn Wolfhard, again, very, very good. And honestly, I think probably Finn, Noah, and Millie are the highlights of the show. And they're all, the kids' crew. So I think that that's very cool. It says a lot. Now here we get a couple other characters, and I'm going to look up the names. You have Max, who is played by Sadie Sink. Very cool actress so far. I like the attitude and the sass they give her. And then as you see her unfolding story with her and her stepbrother, and you know, the fact that they're new in town and they have this very intriguing but closed off life. As it unfolds, you really have a new appreciation for her and why she is the way she is when you first meet her. And it's very cool. It really is very cool. And she becomes quite a strong young woman towards the end of it, and which I really like stuff like that. You know, I like it when you have scenarios where the victim finally finds their strength and is able to face somebody, and that's, I think, kind of a very good message all the way around. Some of the special effects in this season too were a lot better than the first season. They had a couple of things that I really, really liked towards the last, I think it was actually the last episode of the season 2, where 11 really shows off her powers, and it worked. Like, it really looked good. Like, it was a moment where you're like, oh, that's just badass. So, they're building up on the effects too, and so that really makes me excited for season 3 because, you know, with the cast that they have, they're doing very, very well, and, you know, the more money they make, the more money they can put into the show, which obviously makes it a better product. And that is kind of important, I think, in a series like this, because you're dealing with the supernatural, things that obviously aren't there. You have to rely on CGI and special effects. And so you have to have that look good to sell it. And I think they did a good job. I really do. As a matter of fact, I think they were nominated for an Emmy not just for Millie Bobby Brown and her performance, but I think they had a special effects nomination too. So that's cool. Overall, I'm very happy with the series so far. I can't wait for season 3, to be honest. It was something that, for me, it was kind of slow starting. Like, it took me a minute to catch on. Probably like 3 or 4 episodes before I really sank my teeth into this, and I was like, alright, I want to check this out. But once I did, I was along for the ride, and it was very fun. Very, very cool. And, you know, still seeing the nods to Stephen King and the way he writes, the way he talks. I think his language really is expressed in this series. And being a fan of Stephen King, I really do appreciate that. So, I mean, overall, this season, it's a tough one, man. I'd say 7.5 out of 10. It was a very strong outing this time. I really think that they did a good job with everything. The story, the characters, upping the ante, which they definitely did on this one. So very cool. I was absolutely excited for it. I know this is probably coming late for a lot of people, and it is what it is. I'm catching up on a lot of things. And speaking of catching up, I got my wrestling reviews today. I'm catching up on 3 days back of stock of, you know, rock and metal review, and everything's coming at once today. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what's going on. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, though. Let me know about who you think the highlights were for this series. Like I said, I think mine were probably Millie, Noah, and Finn, is it? So, yeah, very, very cool. So that's where I'm at. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz. Kaged Nation, out.